All right, Henry, thank you. Thomas Carey, the former Grand Haven public safety officer, accused of using his badge to coerce crime victims into sexual relationships with him, will spend 60 days behind bars. That sentence handed down today after a plea deal that keeps Carey off the streets as a cop, but also keeps him off the state sex offender list. 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFurgey is here now with more on that story that's raising questions over whether Carey is receiving special treatment. Joe?
Yes, Susie, some of the questions raised by 24-hour News 8 by targeted investigators last week after we obtained police reports and talked to one of the alleged victims.
I apologize to the victims, my family, my profession, and my community.
For the first time, the disgraced former officer speaks out.
I will continue to work on issues in my life that have caused me to make some wrong choices in my life.
His sentence, 60 days in jail, 24 months probation, 150 hours of community service, and various restitution and court costs. He could have received up to 5 years for gross indecency, a charge often used on adults caught having sex in public.
Blame myself. I mean, I could have said no, but what do you say? Say he's a cop.
Targeted investigator Ken Kulker sat down with one of the victims last week, a 43-year-old woman who Carey became involved with after she called police to report a suspicious person. The woman has various mental and physical problems.
I believe that he should be on the sex offender.
But he won't be on that list. The plea was a trade-off. Carey will avoid being added to the Michigan Sex Offender Registry, but he also agreed to give up his accreditation as a police officer. Kent County Prosecutor William Forsythe, brought in to try the case for Ottawa County, said he was concerned a jury might have trouble believing the relationships involving the two alleged victims were not consensual. One of the relationships lasted 3 years, one lasted over a year.
My concern all along was if we went to trial and we lost, some arbitrator might give him his job back, and I did not want him being a police officer again.
But other questions remain over the process. By the time the public learned of the charges against Carey, he'd been through a good part of the judicial process. Carey was arraigned in district court, waived his rights to a show cause hearing, moved to circuit court for trial, and pled no contest to the plea deal. All in one day. Forsythe and Carey's attorney had already agreed to the plea deal, and Forsythe says it wasn't Carey's former cop status, but court rules that allowed the case to move along at such a quick pace.
So if I walked in, Joe Sixpack walked in, he'd get the same treatment?
If you had a special prosecutor from another county, yeah, probably. If he'd worked out the plea ahead of time.
The judge in the case said he received several letters of support for Carey from the community, but Judge Calvin Bosman told Carey police officers need to be held to a higher standard. Now, you can see Ken Kulker's report from last week on our website at woodtv.com.
Thank you, Joe.